Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. So today, Standing Stone Games released DDO's Producer's Letter for 2024. They do this every year, and if you look in the past, I've always done videos covering this, but essentially today, they made a lot of big announcements for what's coming this year, and they laid out a roadmap for this year. So let's just get into it. So this year, they are calling the Year of the Dragon. The first few paragraphs in this letter, it's kind of long, but we have the producer here, Tolero, who's kind of the second in charge there under Severlin at SSG. But she has a few paragraphs here where she talks about, her experiences with D&D. Really the meat and potatoes of this comes on the third paragraph is where it starts. So let's just read here. Third paragraph. I am pleased to announce that starting at DDO's anniversary in February, we will be rolling out a year-long celebration in honor of D&D's 50th anniversary. From free gifts to free features each month during our Year of the Dragon celebration, there will be something exciting for our players. Be sure to check in with us on February 7th. When we will reveal what each month's Year of the Dragon surprise will be. The fun starts during DDO's 18th anniversary on the 28th of February. As a hint to how it starts, this surprise will be a dragon-themed archetype. The Year of the Dragon celebration will last all the way until next year's anniversary. So that's pretty cool. Something, some surprise every month is what we're getting. And the first one being a new archetype. We knew new archetypes were coming. They did a bunch of these last year. Not a surprise. I wish we had more description on what this is. It says a dragon archetype. We have no idea what class. It would be cool to see that, but yeah, that's all we know. Dragon archetype. Next, to help get your friends and family ready for the Year of the Dragon, I'm also pleased to announce the return of a special coupon code that can be used to get a ton of free quest packs. Use the coupon code FREEDDO 2024. So this is awesome. They're bringing back the free coupon code. So for those of y'all who don't know the history on this, they started this in 2020. They tend to release this code once a year-ish, although I believe they went about a year and a half stretch once. But this is the third or fourth time, I forget, that they've released this code. But you put in this code in the DDO store. So there's a coupon claim section in the in-game store inside DDO in the game. You plug in free DDO 2024. It is cap sensitive. It has to be all caps. So put that into the coupon code link in the store, and it gives you permanent access to all of the adventure packs in the game. For the most part, there's a few that might not be included. I don't think Grip of the Hidden Hand is included. I will put a link below in the description to a more specific page that SSG released for this coupon code, which will tell you every pack that's included. But I would urge you, put in that code. Even if you own everything, just put it in anyway. It takes 2 seconds. There may be something you don't own that you thought you owned. But yeah, just go do it. If you're a new player, you haven't tried DDO before, this is the time to try it because you get permanent access to these packs. It only goes until February 11th, so you've got a month. So yeah, even if you're on the fence about DDO, at least install the game, put the code in. Maybe you try it some other time, but now's the time to install and put that code in to claim it. All right, so yeah, let's continue here. In addition, we have lots of other excitement planned in 2024. Here's an early sense of what those updates will entail. Huge news here. By popular demand, our next major expansion in the summer will take place in a fan favorite D&D location, Myth Drannor. It is among the more infamous places in the Forgotten Realms, and we're very excited to bring it to life. The level cap will increase to 34, and I'm looking forward to one of Drith Menor's hallmarks, wild magic areas. So, all right, awesome. There a lot to take in. So they did a poll somewhat recently where they basically said, which location would you like to see DDO go into? And Myth Drannor was one of the more popular ones as a result of that poll. And I actually did my own poll that I'll put a screenshot in here right now on my YouTube channel. I did the same. I kind of mirrored their poll, but I'm not that surprised. I thought it would be Planescape, but Myth Drannor also did really well in the polls, apparently. I'm not super familiar with Myth Drannor and pen and paper, but here's the description of it from the Forgotten Realms wiki. It says, Myth Drannor was considered by many to be the pinnacle of shared knowledge, culture, and civilization in Faerun, as well as a beacon of serenity and solidarity in the chaotic realms. For hundreds of years after the Weeping War, Myth Drannor languished as fiend-infested ruins. After hundreds of years, the city was reclaimed by the elves of Evermeet in the late 14th century DR. It enjoyed a century-long renaissance before falling to ruin once more. The description of it says, describes their stone towers of Myth Drannor were predominantly tall and graceful in appearance. Then it goes on to say there's cobbled streets wound through the city, running in between the ground level buildings of elven design. It says there was an expansive set of dwarven dungeons that ran underneath Myth Drannor that was interconnected with many subterranean subterranean dwellings that were built by the city's non-elven residents. So yeah, there is a small description. I really wish I knew more, guys, about Drannor. I just don't, sorry. But yeah, we'll see how it gets implemented in DDO. It sounds really cool. In addition, they described in this producer's letter wild magic areas. So again, from the Forgotten Realms wiki, it says, wild magic zones were areas where the weave was damaged or distorted. In such areas, a spell could backfire on its caster, target the wrong location, be dramatically increased in power, or indeed anything could occur. So it sounds to me like there will be certain areas where your magic might be a little more unpredictable, might do more damage, and might backfire. But yeah, that sounds interesting. We'll have to see how they implement that. They go on to say the expansion presale will start in June. So I'm not super surprised about some of this. I mean, we knew there were going to be expansion this year. They've gone on this cycle where they have every other year they have a full expansion, and in the years between that they have a mini expansion. So it was very much expected. The same with the level cap increase. I figured it would be either 34 or 35. It was pretty obvious that that would be the case. So we're going to 34. Very cool. And if they go on the same pattern, so they've gone from 32 to 34, we'll probably see 36 in 2 years, 38 2 years after that. But we'll have to see what happens. But that seems to be the pattern SSG is following, a level cap increase by 2 levels every other year. And then they say the presale for the expansion will start in June. Not unexpected. That's about the time frame I was expecting, a late summer release. If the presale starts in June, expect an August release. They continue here and say, in addition to the 2 quest packs this year and our expansion, so there you go, another thing, 2 adventure packs, it sounds like, in addition to the expansion, there will also be a dynamic event with quests to unlock. Dynamic events differ from our seasonal festivals in that they are limited time activities. They are heavily focused on serious story narrative and DDO canon, and some aspects of them don't repeat once the DDO community has advanced the story. They're also meant to have elements that let players experience the event together with collaboration and peer information sharing. After reviewing feedback on the Illithid Invasion, this dynamic event will be inclusive of all character levels. Since the Illithid Invasion was fairly in-game focused, it actually wasn't. I'm not really sure why Tolero is saying that. It will take place on our hardcore season. It will take the place of our hardcore season so that all players can participate. We're anticipating that the event will be sometime in the fall, though dynamic events will not always be during fall going forward. Okay, so couple things to unpack here. So they're basically giving, we had this earlier this year, the Illithid event. For those of y'all who don't remember, basically we have 4 free-to-play quests that are in Sharn now. We had to unlock those quests by defeating Illithids. And these Illithids appeared in Reaper-only dungeons in random places in the game. So players would have to get together, find this dungeon, kill a certain number of Illithids, then they would start appearing somewhere else. I don't really know why Tolero said this was in-game focus, because it actually was the complete opposite of that. I think what she probably meant here is that the dungeons that we unlocked were in-game focus, but the event itself was very much all over the place because it was only in Reaper dungeons and you had to deal with the Reaper entrance cap. So there's a 4 level cap to enter Reaper in Heroics and 6 in Epic. So you had to deal with that. So, but anyways, that's me being a little bit nitpicky. I think the huge thing from this is that it will take the place of our hardcore season. And the devs, I'll put the dev quote on the screen, the devs did clarify this, and they did say there will not be any hardcore in 2024 other than the season that's running currently. So that is a absolute shocker, because it's been the impression, and we don't have access to SSG's financial information, them being a private company, but it has been my understanding and the understanding of a lot of other players that hardcore is a big cash cow for them. And I know of a lot of players who spend a lot of money over there. So I'm shocked that they're not going to run hardcore at all this season. And I don't really understand this part of the letter. It says the dynamic event will take place of our hardcore season so all players can participate. That doesn't make any sense because the hardcore seasons, there's multiple of them, and this dynamic event, as they've said already, is going to start in the fall. So why can't there be a hardcore season at another time of the year? Why can't there be at least one hardcore season? I don't quite understand. It's just very odd, because it seems to be a moneymaker for them. And there's a lot of players, too, that I feel bad for because they only play hardcore, and they're not going to have any hardcore this year. So that's a head-scratcher of a decision. I'm not a huge... personally, I did play hardcore in Season 8. I'm not playing in Season 9. I like hardcore okay. I'm kind of a fence straddler on it. But I'm more concerned, like, I just want to make sure the game can keep the lights on. That's my main concern. So maybe they can reconsider that. If it's a manpower issue, you think they could just do a redux season or something at least, maybe just one season. But I don't know about that. That's a bit of a head scratcher. But in any case, we'll see what they end up doing. Let's continue on. With the necessary store infrastructure upgrades completed last year, we'll also be looking to roll out the updates to the VIP program in the spring this year. We've made changes to the proposed rewards based on player feedback. We'll bring more information on the VIP program soon. I hope they actually do it this time. Here's the thing with VIP, guys. This has been an ongoing thing for years and years at this point. You know, they've continually kicked the can down the road. There's been some good reasons for that. Unfortunately, you know, one of the devs that apparently was the main dev working on it, Humble Fryer, unfortunately, you know, and sadly passed away this past year, which Severlin brought up in his Q&A, which is one of the reasons the VIP program was delayed. But even at that point, before that work started, the can had already been kicked down the road so many times. I mean, this has been a continual problem really since 2020, since the free coupon code took away a lot of the incentive to be VIP. So I hope they actually do it this year. But I made a video almost a year now at this point. They had a Severlin Cordovan had a Q&A where they went into detail about the new VIP program changes, and I'll link that video I did below. I did it, I believe, March of 2023. So it's been almost a year. So I hope they implement this stuff soon. But to give you just a brief summary, the idea with the VIP program revamp that they presented in March, if I remember correctly, March 2023, was every month that you were subscribed continuously as VIP, you would get a special little prize, a special little boost, something like that every month. And then there would be one big prize during the year and two minor prizes. Like the big prize would be like a plus 20 Heart of Wood or something. So that was essentially the suggestion. A lot of players did complain about the certain boosts, like no item damage, I believe, was one of the proposed monthly boosts. So hopefully they make some changes to make that at least most of the months attractive to players. But anyways, we'll continue. Let's continue on. They also mentioned they'll update Crystal Cove and Night Revels to support the higher level cap, and Night Revels will also get a new dungeon this year. Very cool. We all like updated events, so awesome. And then they did this roadmap here, and this is a little bit, if you just read the text, it's a little bit misleading because there's some stuff here in the roadmap that actually isn't mentioned up here at all. So let's get into that. Okay, Q1 Snow Peaks Festival. Expecting that soon. They've already talked about that. That's pretty fun. A little event, very simple event with a few like skiing courses essentially, or platforming courses you can do, and you collect like tokens for turn-ins. It's a fun little event. I'm sure we'll get that in the next week or two. It should be very, very soon. Year of the Dragon reveal. So that's what Tolero talked about above. It says 18th anniversary. So we'll hear about whatever the new dragon archetype is. I wonder what that's going to be. I assume some kind of caster archetype, maybe sorcerer or something. I guess we'll see. 18th anniversary. Okay, Epic Destiny Balance Pass. They did not discuss this. This makes me a little nervous, guys. I'm gonna be honest. Why Epic Destinies? Like, I would think the heroic enhancements are more in need of a balance pass. I hope they're gentle with this. All right, and then Q1 they say VIP update, so it should be coming at least by the end of March. Okay, Q2, Year of the Dragon continues, so more free stuff every month. Adventure pack, so some kind of adventure pack. Okay, expansion pre-purchase. Q3, Year of the Dragon expansion release, awesome. Level cap increase. Raid release, they didn't mention this, but I assume what they mean here by listing it separately from the expansion release, they'll very likely do what they've done the past several expansions. Well, they'll release the expansion and then the raid will come out, say, a month later. I guess they do that so that the team can focus on the expansion content, get that out, and then focus on the raid. But yeah, I don't like that. I wish they would release the raid with the expansion and just delay the expansion until the raid's done, because I think it's a lot more hype for it all to come out at the same time. Okay, Crystal Cove, another adventure pack, Q3. Q4, Year of the Dragon continues. Night Revels, adventure pack, festival. So not, really not too much to say. I wish they would have talked a little bit more about the Epic Destiny Balance Pass. What's the incentive for that? Because this is one of the things that I think this is the only thing, this and the raid release, that wasn't mentioned in the text above. Although raid release you could see as part of the expansion. yeah, let's continue on here. If you're new to the game, returning after a little break, I just want to take a quick moment to recap some of the more recent features and excitement that have been added to DDO for you to enjoy. So they go over some of the things they've done in 2023. They talk about Catastrophe. It's a free quest. We can also, yeah, so this is a free quest that came out last update. It's a short little quest in the marketplace, kind of a comedic themed quest. But yeah, go run that if it's completely free. So go run it if you haven't. And there's actually on the YouTube channel, there's The Joy of Delving, which was a YouTube series the devs did recently, or one dev did recently, where you can actually see him making the dungeon. So if you're interested in content creation, video game creation and development, go watch that. They said, we plan to be at PAX East again this year and more information will be announced soon. So they were at PAX East last year, obviously with this dungeon and things. So yeah, guys, if you're looking to go to a meetup for DDO, by the way, PAX East in Boston in March, there will be some kind of meetup, I'm sure. So let's continue. We've continued to expand our selection of archetypes, adding Blightcaster, Dark Hunter, and Acolyte to the skin. So those are the ones that came out last year. Let's see. Some will be free, some will be paid, but all will bring new ways for people to shake up. So yeah, they did lay the foundation here. They did add free archetypes last year, but not every archetype is going to be free necessarily. Okay, they continued on here. Several pieces of long-term DDO content received a sprucing up and high-level treasures added to make them playable, including Chronoscope, Deception, and Stormreach, and Attack on Stormreach. So that's the Attack on Stormreach chain, the kind of prequel Attack on Stormreach chain, and the Chronoscope were all made legendary this year. Players work together to successfully unlock a new set of tough dungeons. So that's what we talked about before. That was the Illithid Invasion event. If you aren't aware, there's 4 free quests in Sharn you can play if you want to. A new treasure modification feature was added to the game, known as Deck of Many Curses. The cards for it first appeared in our aforementioned challenge, Illithid Invasion Dungeons. During Festival, the Curse introduced the cards to more places in game. We're going to go ahead and keep the card drops in Legendary Saga. So one thing they did too recently, if you didn't catch this, is they made it much easier to get the Curse cards. So they did add them to the end of Legendary Sagas, and they added them in huge numbers. I believe it's 30 for normal, 60 for hard, 90 for elite, and 120 for true elite for the sagas. So it's much easier to get cards now if that's something you're interested in. Let's see. Okay, guys, I think that's it for the letters. So let's talk about some things they did not mention. So I think the big hitter things they didn't mention is besides talking about hardcore, which we've already discussed, that them not having any hardcore this year, but UI scaling, that's been a big thing. I don't see any mention of that. They really need to get on that. That is really important. So all the icons in the game being fixed images, they really need to get the game scalable to higher resolutions. They also mentioned, these are things they also mentioned in the several Court of Q&As recently. So character look revamp, so cosmetic alterations to make characters, say like Purple Dragon Knights, for example, look better, like older races. They didn't mention that at all here. Doesn't seem like that's on their radar for this year. Two-factor authentication, I wonder where that's at. They've been talking about that forever. No mention here. Another huge one that they did not mention is that they've been talking about for years is Reaper update. Is there any Reaper update plans for this year? For players. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about the producer's letter. Overall, I think it's a lot better than the one we had last year. The one last year was a lot more big than this one. This one, I have to give him credit for it. It was very, very, way more specific than the last one. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Have a good one. Take care.